Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm excited to be joined once again by my friend and business partner, Mr. Michael Vincent, Mr. Podcaster Extraordinaire. I'm sure you've known over the years. And Michael and I work together on fuel reduction, emissions reduction, plastics waste reduction, all with a common theme of monetary gains. So it's a winner, winner, winner.
We're profitable. We're capitalistic humanitarians.
That's right. Help the environment, make more money.
And environmentalists. Yes.
And it's possible. And in fact, it's happening as we speak.
It is incredibly possible, and it's incredibly important. And if you don't look at the ESG movement, the environmental movement, the sustainability movement as a blue ocean of opportunity, you are missing huge opportunities. Massive.
Yes, absolutely. Massive. There are opportunities right, left, and center. No doubt about it.
Even if you're not on the forefront of technology, adopting some of these things is makes you much more profitable and much more competitive.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Keep your prices down and be more competitive on your bids,
and lower your carbon footprint, and actually show up as a positive on somebody's assessment on where their carbon footprint leaks are, which are audits that people have to do and have to get graded on in order to submit and be eligible to win RFPs in logistics.
Right. Yeah. I'm hearing more and more of that, right? Tell me absolutely. What you're doing about sustainability. What's your ESG?
And prove it.
And prove it. Show us what you've been doing. Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got proof of people you're helping, or we've got proof from Cyberfuels of people we're helping, documented tests that show. I mean, what's the latest stuff that's going on? Like 20% reduction in fuel consumption? Is that right?
Yeah, well, the latest study came back from Colorado this week, 19.8% fuel economy improvement and 21.95% less diesel exhaust fluid, which means you're burning cleaner, right? When you're not using diesel exhaust fluid. So yeah, that's a game changer, no doubt.
And I heard now you don't like, so now we have the technology to not only be able to give you this product to make this happen, but then the dosing system is there to where, like, you don't even have to fill up on Cyberfuel except when you do your regularly scheduled maintenance, right? Or even less than each scheduled maintenance, right?
Right. Yeah. The Easy Add dosing systems, they let a driver run around for 25 to 30,000 miles between fill-ups.
There you go.
So yeah. That's
so every time they fill up, you don't have to say, hey, you know what? Did you put in your diesel fuel? Oh, I forgot.
No, that's right. No. Yeah. Now we're doing some really fun things. I'm an engineering geek, and we're doing big bulk tank, dosing systems to all the way down to riding on the big rig truck as well.
Yeah, you're sitting on the back by the fifth wheel, dumping it into the fuel as it needs into the. Yeah, gotcha.
Yep, absolutely. And I know you've got some really cool stuff going on in the plastics recycling world as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know it, man. I've got a container finally cleared customs, man. Yeah, it was stuck. So tomorrow morning I'll be putting together plastic recycling machines, our proprietary plastic recycling. Put the plastics in one side, comes out ready for production on the other side. So instead of going to like a convenience center, like a drop-off convenience center, like I'm sure you have in your hometown, right? Or putting it in your green bins or your blue bins or whatever, right? That they come and pick up and it goes through MRF and maybe it gets recycled or not.
Yeah.
When you go and you take this thing to a recycling center, you take it to a convenience center, for instance, you put in your plastic bottle or your bottle caps or your milk jug that you didn't wash because you don't have to, or whatever other plastic you got laying around. When you put it in there, it washes, grinds it, dries it, and flakes it, and it's ready. And it's single stream plastic ready for production. Goes directly from your hand through the machine to production of plastics. All of it is recycled. None of this guessing, and then you find out years later only 4% of your efforts actually made any difference.
Right.
Yeah, that's what we're doing, brother. And it also goes in industry too. Sit on industry floors. So post-industrial scrap, right, from the production methods of in automotive and other. So I was at a pharmaceutical grade plastic bottle manufacturer last week. Okay. And we're not talking about, in New York City or anything massive. We're talking about in, Hickson, Tennessee. 1 million bottles a day they make.
Oh, wow.
1 million a day. And they waste around 13,000 pounds of plastic that our machine can now grind and go right back into there instead of heading out to landfill.
Right.
That's the power. That's the power we're talking about. Saving that company tons of money, saving all kinds of carbon footprint, and keeping plastics out of our landfills, our waterways, and our oceans.
I love it. Awesome stuff. Yeah.
I heard they have a new use for coal, though.
Yeah, you and I were talking about this story. So
yeah, let's get on with it.
Our big story for today. Storing hydrogen in coal may help power the clean energy economy. So this is really interesting. Coming from Science Daily.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Basically talking about how, I don't know all the technology, but how you can basically use coal as a storage, kind of creating a hydrogen battery of sorts.
Yeah. So the scientists at Penn State, right? These crazy Nittany lions in the shadow of Mount Nittany in Happy Valley, Pennsylvania, State College. What's his name? Shimin Liu is the guy that they quote here, and he says, "We found that coal can be this geological hydrogen battery. You could inject and store the hydrogen energy and have it there when you need it to use it." So they were studying sorption rates, and they were studying coal. And I never thought of this before, but it makes complete sense now because, smart people thought of it, and now people like me heard of it, and we go, "Oh yeah, that's brilliant." But so the methane gas and the natural gas that you pull out of the ground is actually coming out of veins of coal, right? Because the coal, it sticks to the surface of the coal and inside all the nooks and crannies inside the coal, and then the shale that's over top of it acts like this cap, and then that's where you get these huge pockets of these natural gases, right, that we're pulling out. So what they did is they studied all these different types of coal from there's different types depending on whether it's Eastern or Western PA or West Virginia or Virginia or wherever the coal is. It's a different type of coal because you have different type of materials and plants, et cetera, that became that coal over the centuries.
Right.
And so they found that Eastern Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Virginia are the best at the coal having at hydrogen adhering. It's not really adhering, it's sorption or absorption of the coal, and it holds it like really, really well, easily, and you can easily extract it, and it's really efficient way and cost-effective way to store hydrogen, because that's one of the problems with hydrogen is the cost of transportation and storage. So what they're looking at, Andy, is veins of coal that have been depleted. They can now pump the hydrogen into it and use the shale as a natural cap and store hydrogen for future use for fluctuations of production and so on and so forth all over the world. It's amazing.
Very, very cool.
I think it is.
I do too. I think it is too. And it's funny because it's two naturally occurring substances. That's the thing about this. It's coal and it's hydrogen. I mean, and there's an abundance in certain areas, of course, of coal, and then hydrogen is I think I read hydrogen is 72% of all the matter in the world. I think is hydrogen.
72% of the universe is hydrogen.
Universe.
That's the beautiful. I mean, when you look at some of the War of the Worlds, et cetera, and all that other kind of stuff, and the aliens come down and they plant different things, and they come over to steal our minerals and stuff because they got a power because they depleted everything on their planet. Well, hydrogen would prevent that if we all do in hydrogen, because you can go anywhere and get hydrogen. And it's everywhere.
And years and years ago, I saw, have you ever seen things about Greenland and hydrogen?
No.
They have been for years and years utilizing hydrogen in various places throughout Greenland. I saw a documentary about it. And one of the things they were talking about is your dispensing of hydrogen. You have to have a 100% no static electricity zone. So, you have to have
well, that's the Hindenburg effect, right? Oxygen in a spark equals disaster.
Yes. It's highly combustible, which makes it a great option for fuel.
Its energy density is awesome. Yeah.
Right. So Greenland's been doing some things with hydrogen for years and years. I happened to catch a little documentary on that not too long ago, and it was really interesting. And then the other thing you and I were kind of chatting back and forth about, Science Daily came out with another one. And it's using baking soda for clean hydrogen storage potentially as well.
So it's along the same lines as the coal, right?
Right, exactly. Being able to store it in a very abundant material and then be able to extract it, basically. This is the way I was reading it. So Pacific Northwest National Laboratory was the source of this study and the Department of Energy. And it says,
this one's crazy, dude. Because here's the thing. Now, I know you're looking for something, so you can look for this and maybe kind of listen out your ears on the other side, because this is a good segue into this. So you talk about methanol and you talk about ammonia, right? On these green corridors and shipping that they're talking about, like Shanghai to LA, et cetera, and that type of stuff, where you're already transporting these chemicals, because these chemicals are hydrogen carriers, right? So you just extract the hydrogen's in it, and you can extract the hydrogen. You get up with hydrogen and ammonia and all this other kind of stuff, right? That are naturally occurring, and you want it anyways, right? And they're already being moved, so all the infrastructure is there, right? This is what's beautiful. They're using the baking soda to do it, to as one of those, right? It's just carrying the hydrogen. But did you read in here how they extract the hydrogen back from the baking soda?
I didn't get that far.
They just dip it in water, dude.
Dip it in water, and that's
it. Add water, hydrogen.
Yeah, absolutely. Longer term, a lot of people are working on hydrogen, right? Trying to produce it, trying to store it, trying to transport it, trying to make it safe for consumption in the market without blowing things up. I mean, that's a pretty important.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of people working in this hydrogen area. And, I think it's going to be a longer term energy supply. I mean, I just see it. I see it coming. It's not slowing down from anything that I see. It just seems to be growing and growing as we talk.
So what they said is this, right? So here's, who is this? It's not Gene Autry. Because that would be weird.
Yes, Gene Autry was the famous cowboy, right?
Yes, it's not
movie
Gene
star,
Autry.
Singer. Yeah.
But it's Autry of the PNNL that's talking about this and saying that. Okay, so they put it in this abundant material, baking soda. It's abundant. It's all over the place, right? The soda, it's everywhere. And so they put it in it and then make it into a solution that looks like water, and it's non-flammable.
Very cool. Very cool.
You can. So Autry says you could put out fire with it. So you can take your hydrogen is being carried in this solution of water and baking soda, and you could use it as a. I mean, I'm making all this up, right? I mean, I'm taking it to its crazy extreme. It's a fire hydrant / fuel tank. I mean, it's a fire extinguisher.
Do you want to start a fire or do you want to put a fire out? Which is
depending on what you want to do with it. You could do either one. It does both. It can start a campfire or a minor explosion, or it can put it out. But no, they're saying the cycle's built on an aqueous storage solution so mild that it looks like water, said Autry. You can put out a fire with it.
That is crazy.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
You certainly would not want to try and use gasoline to put out a fire.
No. No, you certainly don't. You certainly don't.
Man, have you ever been at a campfire or something where you decide to get a burn going and somebody had the bright idea?
Yes.
Put some gasoline in there.
Yeah.
That stuff crawls through the air, right? And it'll climb, and you have to be super careful with gas.
I don't know. It's when somebody does, I absolutely scream no. And if they insist, they'll be going to be careful. I leave the scene.
Yeah.
And grab a phone because you don't realize how big that fireball can get, how fast.
Yeah, absolutely.
With a little bit of gasoline. I mean, boom, it goes. But yeah, no, I watched a guy put it on the fire, and when it did that, he started running and was leaking fire the whole way because he was carrying the can of gas as it was.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yelling at him, drop it. He finally drops it and rolls on the ground. But
well,
not a good idea. This doesn't seem like it's going to have the same problem.
No, not at all. There was one other event where I saw somebody, you know how they have those signs at gas stations that say do not smoke while you're okay. I was at a 7-Eleven, no fault of 7-Eleven. There was a guy that decided to light up his cigarette right there at the pump. And he did it, and he literally got engulfed in flames because of all the vapor that was hanging out. And another guy grabbed him, jumped on top. They rolled around on the ground. I was standing at the front of the building, like, the convenience store. The guy walks up and his skin was falling off. It's like,
oh my God.
That's why they say do not smoke at a fuel station. Oh
no, it's not. It's not smart. It's not a smart thing to do. It's not a smart.
No, it is.
So one of the challenges these guys are still having here, though, is that the aqueous solution that they have, it says here, it only stores the hydrogen at 20 kilograms per cubic meter, which in the industry standard needs to get it to 70. So they got a bit of work to do,
right,
to get it to handle it at a density that is going to make it economical. It'll still work. It's just not as economical as the others because of the density of the hydrogen per cubic meter is not up to industry standards to make it economical. But it's really cool stuff. And if you don't think that's cool, have you heard of artificial leaves?
No, I have not yet. Artificial leaves.
You're about to.
Now I'm dying to know. What is that?
Count on the crazy kids at Cambridge University for this one.
Oh man, what are those smart people up to?
Yeah, right. I mean, so all right. So, it's not enough that, people are figuring out how to handle hydrogen and all that other kind of stuff and be clean and not burn CO2 and all that kind of stuff. These guys get the brilliant idea that, you know what? Hey, let's build some artificial leaves and let's figure out the magic of photosynthesis and harness it. Right. And we're just going to, in reality, a leaf takes sunlight, water, and CO2, right? And it feeds this tree.
Right.
Okay. So they're taking the exact same three elements and they're producing complex multi-carbon fuels.
Wow.
CO2, water, artificial leaves that use sunlight to create photosynthesis conversion of CO2, water, and sunlight into multi-carbon fuels, ethanol and propanol.
Wow. You know where my mind goes? This is me big weird. My mind goes to the trees and the AI are going to take over and they're going to eat the people. Like that movie where the giant
with Marky Mark.
Yeah. Giant man-eating plant eats the people.
Oh, no.
We're going to make synthesized plants and trees and artificial intelligence. And then the plants.
You're talking about feed me, Seymour. Feed me, Seymour.
Feed me, Seymour.
Little Shop of Horrors, right? Little
Shop of Horrors. That's exactly.
I was talking about the event or the happening or something like that with Wahlberg where the trees were pissed off and were killing everybody with pollen or something stupid.
Oh, well, there's a big one in Lord of the Rings as well. The trees, that talk.
Oh, the ants.
Oh, yeah. You would not want to make those big trees mad.
Tree shepherds,
exactly. That's right.
It takes a long time to say anything in int. Yeah. Like 3 days they talked and they said, we've agreed to discuss the problem. What?
Exactly.
3 days?
3 days, and you decided to discuss it. Exactly. Well, as long as they don't plug AI and synthesized trees together, I think we'll live. We'll survive.
It's possible. It's possible. I don't know. But you know, this as cool as this thing is here, and I love the technology. It's really cool. But I mean, they're creating another carbon-based fuel. Now they're sucking carbon out of the air, so technically it's carbon negative, but it isn't clean. It's only mostly clean, or not even mostly. It's I don't know, partially clean. It's it's one of those. It's like what are you clean? No, we pump millions of tons of CO2 into the air, but we buy carbon credits. That what a sham!
Yeah, that's a sham.
I pay. I'm clean by virtue of Andy being clean. I buy his credits, and therefore the filth I'm pumping into the sky is okay. Oh, great, you're green. Yeah, no, sorry, no.
No, not really. No,
not buying it. So, I mean, that's cool. Photosynthesis, as cool as that is, it is really, really cool. And I can't say that it is astute because there's no way I can, figure that out. I can't even spell photosynthesis.
Yeah, but, exactly. There is unbelievable innovations going on, no doubt about it. And
no doubt.
There are definitely some fun ones to talk through. As always, Michael, fun having you on the show, talking through sustainability topics together. And that'll do it for this episode, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you again soon. Take care.
Amen. Peace and love.